Hello, this is Adrienne Berg, host of the Ageless Traveler, the show that supports you so you never have to stop traveling. And what we're doing now is a little composite of the best for the past year. It's in celebration of our 1 year anniversary of the Ageless Traveler, but also our upcoming holiday season. And I'm going to start with one of my very favorite interviews, Angie Wells. She's a recording star. She's a makeup artist for places like Mad Men and others that you've seen, but she's also a warm and generous person. And of course, we dish about travel and cabarets. So here you go. Here's Angie.
When I'm in the studio, it is me focusing everything going into the recording. So it's a different energy. Often, my eyes are completely closed when I'm singing in the studio sometimes, especially, unless I'm going to maybe just check and make sure I haven't forgotten a lyric or something. But I'm listening very closely to all of the instruments and so the levels and the way things sound. So it becomes a more auditory experience for me.
Right. So there's really a technical difference. So yeah. I want to say about eyes closed, and then I'm going to ask you about your album. I have a thing that I believe, maybe because I have no talent and I'm never able to perform, but I love performance art of every type. My daughter says I'll go to the opening of an envelope. I love everything. It doesn't matter. And I've seen some great stuff as a result of that. But I believe that the audience makes a difference to the performance.
Yes, it does.
And I see people in the front row sleeping or their eyes are closed. And I will say, if there's somebody I know, they'll say, that's the way I enjoy it. So my question to you as a performer, I've never asked this, and all the performers I know, does it make a difference to you? If you see somebody that, and maybe they are cerebrally just enjoying the music, I don't know. But if it looks like they're asleep or they're not paying attention in some other way, right, does it affect you, or have you learned to just forget about it and deal with the people who are attentive?
I would say you usually are, connecting with, I tend to make eye contact around the audience as I'm singing because I like people to know that I'm connecting with them.
You're with them.
But there is a difference, I think, of the look of somebody who's got their eyes closed because they are very focused on listening, because you'll often see,
particularly in jazz people do close their eyes a lot.
Right. And you'll see their bodies moving, you'll see a foot tapping or something, as opposed to somebody who's slumped down like this. Right. That's a whole different animal.
one Chardonnay too many.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate. I don't usually have the slumpers, but it is nice to look out and see open eyes.
Right.
But some people are very, cerebral with it. Like you said, they do close it.
So it's not so terrible as I complain. All right, good. I'll stop complaining. Now we go. So truth be told, again, you're making an album here. So in making an album, you're putting together certain songs. And it's like a book of short stories where each of the songs relate to the other one for a reason, or you just happen to like these songs, so you've chosen them as individuals?
No, it is like a story. It's a journey. It's a journey through life and the various truths of my life, the things that have been truths in my life, but that were things that I felt were truths for many of us, things that we have in common. Mm-hmm. And as I had mentioned earlier, we all hopefully have had a chance to be in love at some point. And on the other side, I'm sure we've all had heartbreak. We all have joy. We have sadness. We have moments of contemplation. So there were things that I just felt were very important within my life, but that the most important thing was that these were things that we all had in common.
I would really be remiss if I didn't include among my very favorite interviews that with a good friend of mine and a colleague, Joy Laverty. Now, some of you may know that we have another podcast. It's called Generation Bold, the Fountain of Truth about Aging. And so one of the things that some of us may have to do in the future is go into a living community, a special senior community, but we want to pick the right one. And Joy has always been the most helpful in guiding us, including in her latest book, Who Will Take Care of Me When I'm Old? But I asked her a very different kind of question on the Ageless Traveler, which is, will we be able to travel? What about volunteer? What about volunteering? What's changed in the world of senior living? Here's Joy. And I volunteer at the Art Museum, I volunteer for the United Nations, and I have something called the Ageless Ambassador Program, where people can volunteer, go to other countries and volunteer. Now, is that one of the things that the life planning communities are looking at? Opportunities to give back, not just to get, but to give back.
They do have travel programs, but I don't think they are as robust as they should be. So I'm going to tell everybody I know in the business that they need to call you.
Yeah, they should call me. There's no doubt. But even traveling, even volunteering where they are.
Right.
Yeah, I recently did a show with AmeriCorps Senior, and they have 140,000 volunteers. And I asked them how many of those volunteers are in communities, senior residences. Very few, because it's not a culture. So it would be wonderful if it was a culture. Forget about travel for a minute, but in the life planning community, that the ability to easily volunteer would be there. Are you seeing it yet?
Yeah, well, the boomers are coming, and they are already here in these environments. And we don't take life sitting down.
No.
When I talk to groups of people, I kind of like wave a magic wand and say, "Tag, you're it. You get to have what you want. All you have to do is go. If you're thinking about going anywhere, ask for what you want." So that's very new. Generations before us, right? They just walked in the door and said, I'll eat here and sleep here, and that's about it, right? We are so not aging like that generation.
No,
so we're going to be raising the roof, as they say.
Pickleball, pickleball, pickleball. I call it Pickleball Nation. It is the very fastest growing sport in the USA and in many places around the world. So we're taking you on a trip with Coach Russell, who works with Road Scholar so that you can learn how to play, guess what? Pickleball. Here's Coach Russell. I can hear it. If I wasn't concerned about the noise here, some of you are hearing feedback. That's the pickleball court, honestly. So tell me, why do you, let's go back to that question. You love this sport yourself. You're a professional, you're certified. What's the great big deal about it?
Well, the social aspect of pickleball, where a lot of people can play at the same time, 4 on a court. It's mostly all doubles. 95% of it's doubles. Only 5% is singles. The court is shorter, so you don't have to run as much, especially it's easier for us older people, I guess. Ageless
travelers, right?
Right. Yeah. So the sport's really easy to learn. It's very forgiving. It's not like let's say tennis, where the strings really can dictate where the ball goes. It's in pickleball, it's just a more forgiving sport. So it's easy to learn, very social, and the games are only 20 minutes. So you're playing with different people all day long.
I think that's one of the great features of it. The fact that you really get to meet a whole bunch of different kinds of people instead of the same old all the time. Because as we get older, we have wonderful friends and great spouses. But how many times can you tell the same story? So can they hear the same story? I think that's an important part of this. Now, let's just take the Road Scholar trip, for example. People are playing pickleball and they're learning to play. And they're also, some are very good players. Do they get divided into like major leagues and minor leagues? What do you do when you have people that are inconsistent in playing?
Well, at the Rhodes Scholar, and including my Suncoast Pickleball camps, we divide the players into like ability groups, 4 to 8 people. And so then the people that attend can go be in a group with a like ability players. Now, Rhodes Scholar, they're all learning at the same time. We also offer an intermediate pickleball Rhodes Scholar at Montreat here in North Carolina. And so those people have been playing for a while.
Okay, so they're the experts.
Yeah.
They've got it.
Yeah.
So show us something. So at some point, I promise you, I'm going to take this out of the box. I really will. I do. That's number one. I live in a golf resort, so I bought this at Marshall's. This is a golf dress, special golf dress. I'll tell you why I bought it. I was in Marshall's, and somebody behind me said, "Oh, that would be great for pickleball." There was a big label on it, and it said golf dress. So I'm telling you, this pickleball is like the pod people. It takes over everything. It's even taking over the golf dresses. I love iconic houses. I love them because they are architecturally built, because they're beautiful and they're built to last. Unfortunately, some people want to knock them down. To do what? I don't know, maybe put up a parking lot? Well, there's help to the rescue, and that is in the format of a foundation for iconic houses. And you can take trips to see some of those beautiful houses while they're here. And because of Natasha Drabe, a wonderful interviewee, they will be here. Here's Natasha.
You know, the moment that the original clients or owners or contemporary owners put the house up for sale, the next
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Most of the times, these houses are built on sites that are extraordinary, and then the houses are more humble. Especially modernist houses with flat roofs or the wooden structures on Cape Cod. You know, then the house isn't worth a lot in money, but the value is, of course, in experiencing the way the spaces are treated inside these homes. And so we have also an icons at risk section on our website where you can see which houses are immediately at risk. Sometimes you can support by giving a donation for the people who strive for the house to be protected. But also you can see examples of houses that have been rescued, because we want to show people that if you bring the right parties together, the heritage organizations and people and organizations who can fund new initiatives, then you can save these houses. And one of the examples that is so successful is the Villa Cavrois in the north of France. It is designed by Robert Mallet Stevens. And it was in the 30s, built for a textile, an owner of a textile factory. Actually, the owners of textile factories in the 30s were the people that earn the most money, like the tech people nowadays.
Right, today, yes. They are the textile Silicon Valleys.
Yes, absolutely. Also, the Villa Tugendhat, the famous Villa Tugendhat in Brno by Mies van der Rohe, was also for a textile owner of a textile company. But this Villa Cavrois I mentioned was purposely by the owner of the site left to squatters. And because the owner wanted to tear down the building and then put 6 villas on this site and earn a lot of money. And so he just opened the gate and the squatters came in and they ruined the whole interior. And it's devastating when you see those photos. And then there was a group from Paris, from a famous actor, and they collected a group of people for 10 or more years. They had a website trying to save Villa Cavrois. And then in the end, the French Heritage Organization had a multi-million restoration, and since then the house has 100,000 visitors per year. Wow. So we also want to bring good news and show best practices how you can save these houses.
Now, I also really do like interior design, and we did a wonderful show called Right Sizing Your Home with journalist Marnie Jameson. Now, why are we talking about a home on a travel show? Well, it is the most remarkable and perhaps the most difficult thing that you may have to do if you want to do what I do, and that is make the world your second home. To really live a life of travel after retirement, your home base has to be conducive to doing that. And so we had a wonderful interview, and you'll hear a little bit about that right now from Marnie Jameson.
I do write about this a lot, and it's not just a company. It's PP&G, it's Bear, it's Farrow and Ball. All of them come out with their color of the year, and Sherwin-Williams. And I try to look at, wait till they all come out or most of them and see if there's a thread. And there's sometimes not, but when I do know, and I'm happy to report that gray has gone away. I've never been a fan, but that's okay. But I never fell into it. And that's, colors come and go and it'll probably come back again, but I'm not a fan. And warmer neutrals are definitely where we're moving. And we're also seeing lots of green. Green has come, especially coming out of COVID. It's a healing color. It's a color of balance, and it's holistic and in various shades. I think that's going to have some staying power.
So now, again, taking from what you had listed as some important issues in design and decorating, I'm going to call it age tech, because in my world, I'm in the world of successful aging. And I do a lot of conferences that have to do with technology and healthcare. We talk about it a lot. But the fact is, it also comes down to the home. One of the things you mentioned was have your plugs, particularly for hotels. I'm always crawling around on the floor. Just what you said. Under the desk, trying to find the plug. I find the plug. The plug is black. This is black. I can't see it. So we do need technology. And I also need things like the ringer and safety and so on. What trends? Do you think there's anything new on the market that you've been seeing for design?
There's some outlets now that pop up out of the counter. They pop up and you can plug in your blender and your toaster and your coffee maker, and then you can put them away, put the plugs down. I think that's really nice. A lot of visual stuff, a lot of, check when you call. I mean, just even talking to your own kids, making phone calls, but being able to FaceTime and see how the person's doing and what's happening. If they've had a fall, there's more visualization. I think
those refrigerators, the refrigerators that are computers.
You can be at the store and wonder if you have eggs. And you're standing at the egg counter going, and you can look inside your refrigerator. There'll be a camera. There are refrigerators that are smart. There's a camera in the fridge. You go, oh, for darn, I'll be darned. There are no more eggs, so I'll get some. You can check it out. So there are some I don't have one of these smart refrigerators, but they are out there.
And lighting. You also mentioned lighting, and that confuses me. What are the right bulbs today? I don't even know.
I like 2700, and I think they need to match. Light temperature is super important to me. It drives me nuts when you have two lamps outside somebody's house and one is blue and one is yellow. It's like, get them to match. And the whole house should match. And LEDs are the way to go. They've come so far, and also dimmable. I would say 60% of my lights are on dimmable switches. Mm-hmm. And if you put something down at 20%, you're only paying 20% of the electricity. It will save you money, but if you want bright, you got it. So go for it. In the bathroom, I like it bright when I'm putting my makeup on in the morning, but I like it lower light level when I'm going to bed at night. So light levels are really nice, and LED will last a long time. They should, and they are now dimmable, and they have good color temperature. So I think getting the lighting right is really important.
So now we go on to, this is very intimate, sheets. So everybody's like a $500 bamboo sheets. I don't know. You tell me.
Cotton, no bamboo, no polyester, my opinion. And there's a whole section on sheets, and there's kind of a whole thread count, gig, which is it's often fraud. So how do you pick them? You have to decide if you like percale or sateen. I'm a percale girl. Some people like sateen. They're softer. They're a little bit more supple. They're a little warmer. Percale is crisp. But 100% cotton. I like white. I'm a purist. I like to know they're washing them in hot water. They're going to be clean. I can see any stains. I know they're going to be nice. Yeah, I'm fussy. I'm fussy about my sheets. There's a whole
Yeah,
section.
no, I know. That's why I told you it's going to be an intimate conversation.
Yeah.
How do you get that on design when you talk about sheets? Well, I do hope that you have enjoyed our composite, and I do want you to continue to listen to the Ageless Traveler at agelesstraveler.com, Apple and Spotify. Please do like us, give us a great rating, and take a look at our YouTubes. As many as you can, please again subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, for those of you in the tourism industry, we have something very special for you as well, and that is a badge that tells the world that you are age-friendly and, in fact, intergenerationally friendly. How do you get that? Well, take a look at agelesstourism.com. And for everybody listening, you know what I'm going to say? Never stop traveling.